Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bexar County Court of Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. And our ADAs for the day are going to be Mr. Eddie Villarreal, Mr. Arthur Reed. Our Bexar County CSCD officer is Miss Susan Gross. Is Susan with us at this time?
No, Your Honor, because she would not be.
Oh, Joe is our probation officer. Joe, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. And is Valerie going to testify today also on another case?
I believe so, Your Honor, and they're in a breakout room talking with the defendant.
Okay. All good. The cases I have set for hearing today are Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 2, Deferred Adjudication Probation on Clause 654-966, State of Texas versus Anthony Alonso, a representative of Mr. William Salazar. And I have documents to show that Mr. Alonso is going to plead on 2 separate cases, but that's not true with it, Mr. Salazar. The second one is going to be TIC'd on the first one. Does that sound right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, all good. Are we all ready to proceed at this time, Mr. Salazar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I also have a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion, motion to terminate pretrial diversion. Clause number 640828, State of Texas versus David Herrera, represented by Judge Joanne De Hoyos. And a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 2, motion to revoke community supervision. 650994 and 680225, State of Texas versus Clayton Howard Hosfield. At this time, let's take up our plea on Mr. Alonso, which is clause number 654966.
Excuse me, I had to put us back in the breakout room, Mr. Herrera. I need to speak to him about the offer from the state.
Y'all need more time, or are you ready to proceed?
No, we're not ready to proceed. Mr. Herrera did not have contact with me till this morning, so I just have to tell him what the offer is.
Okay, I put him in 4, Your Honor. Joanne, I'll put you in 4.
4,
All right.
thanks.
Let's go forward on Mr. Alonso's plea. This is clause number 654966, State of Texas versus Anthony Alonso. This is the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 2, probation plea. The first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which is purportedly signed both by Mr. Alonso and his attorney, Mr. Salazar. In fact, Mr. Alonso, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Salazar, as attorney for Mr. Alonso, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Alonso, is this your signature on this document also, sir?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, sir?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Salazar, the attorney for Mr. Alonso, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, I have, Your Honor, and yes, he is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Alonso, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Salazar, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
And state, have you got a motion on Mr. Alonso's case 654966?
Yes, Judge, we move to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement.
No objection from the defense, that will be granted. I'm assuming this information already has 2 paragraphs, one for DWI and one for obstruction.
Judge, we're not
correct?
doing obstruction, we're just waiving the enhancement.
Oh, we're not going all the way to obstruction. Okay, all good. No objection from the defense, that will be granted. Mr. Alonso, in clause 654966 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Alonso in clause 654966?
Yes, Judge. Guilty to DWI, 12 months deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine, 80 hours community service, fully probated, DWI education course, victim impact panel live, driver safety course, Smart Start mobile for half the term, restitution, if any, to Diana Guerra, and that's spelled Deanna, last name Guerra. And VTC treatment completion, we're going to take into consideration cause number 654967.
And Mr. Salazar, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Alonso, on cause 654-966, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess $1,000 fine plus court costs. Court costs are going to be assessed at $50, not $350. 80 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety driver or aggressive driver course, Smart Start mobile, home interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months. Restitution, if any, to Diana Guerra, requiring your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, take into consideration clause 654-967, which is granted and it shall be dismissed, recalling all pretrial bond conditions and warrants. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Alonso?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Let me go over one more document in here, Mr. Alonso, that I missed. I'm now looking at a document entitled Track 2 Post Adjudication, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Salazar, as attorney for Mr. Alonso, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Reed, I think can you identify Mr. Villarreal's signature as your trial partner, assistant criminal district attorney on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And we got you on contract now. You can't get away. Okay. What'd you do in the military, Mr. Alonso?
I served in the National Guard. I'm still in it, Your Honor. 10 and a half years. I've been deployed 3 times and done a lot of in-state missions.
Are y'all down on the border now still?
We are down in the border. We're taking rotations at the moment. I think my unit is going to be going out probably as soon as August. We'll be down there.
Tell us about a little about that if you don't mind, because we don't get it straight from the horse's mouth. But apparently, it's a bad mission and nobody's really happy about it. Does that sound right?
That sounds 100% right. Nobody's really happy about it, but it pays really well. That's the only thing why anybody would want to go and volunteer. But it's just it's really a lot of putting up with a lot of nonsense that we don't have to. But I mean, we're soldiers. I don't understand why people are complaining so much. They just they don't know how to, I guess, be away from their family. That's really what it comes down to.
Did they brief you on the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids you from doing police activities? And I guess you can detain somebody, but you have to wait for an actual police officer to come arrest them or something. Is that not true?
That's true. I've done something like that before. Pretty much they swear us in to be peace officers for that time being, and we're not allowed to do certain things, but we are allowed to do certain other things. Yes, that's correct.
Are y'all actually carrying weapons?
Yes, we are.
Are they giving you any ammunition for your weapons?
I couldn't tell you that right now. But I know. Yeah, it's kind of.
I think that answers my question, doesn't it, everybody?
Yeah. It's kind of silly when they give us, just a weapon and we don't have no loaded mags. But for the Washington mission, we did. We actually did have 3 loaded mags ready to go, which was the first time that I've actually carried my weapon in state with loaded mags, and it changes the tone of people, to be completely honest, because people see you with a weapon that's not even loaded or you don't have no mags on you. It's not very intimidating.
Yeah, I would think at the least they'd give you an empty magazine so it looks like you were locked and loaded.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what a lot of us did. We would just make it look like they were, somewhat full or had rounds in them. But for the most part, they don't really give us loaded mags just because they don't, I guess, trust us in a way. But someone might have an accident or they just don't know what state of mind some people are in at that moment. But I do know that they are giving loaded mags at the border for sure, and people have shot. Yeah.
You can always fix bayonets, or are they afraid you're going to cut yourself and they won't give you a bayonet either?
I've had a bayonet in my my last deployment. We were the only company.
Have you been deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan during your service?
I've been to Syria.
Syria. All right, we'll talk about that some other time.
I'm sorry, Somalia.
Oh, Somalia, that's even worse. What year was that?
This was 2019, going into 2020.
Okay, we'll talk about that some other time, but I'm sure you got some stories from that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks for your service, sir. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right, and Mr. Moore is going to get in contact with you, Mr. Alonso, probably today at some point, and get you coordinated with when you need to get your in processing, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, y'all dismissed. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Salazar.
Judge.
Okay. Judge DeHoyos, are you ready on Clayton Matthew Howard Hosfield at this time?
Your Honor, he has not signed the paperwork that just went to him.
Okay.
There was an error in the email address, so we're waiting for him to sign.
And Judge DeHoyos, do you represent Mr. Herrera on this case?
You're muted, Joanne.
Joanne, your mic's off.
Darn it, sorry. Oh, the days when we didn't have to say you're muted. But anyway, yes, John, I believe we have a agreed recommendation to the court on sentencing.
Okay, so we're ready to proceed on Mr. Herrera's case?
Yeah, it's gonna be a termination from track one.
Yeah, okay, let's do that one then.
Wait, Mr. Herrera, has he signed, Pat?
I don't believe I have his signed yet. No, he has not signed the paperwork. And his, Your Honor, is just the defendant's consent to video conference.
Okay, my understanding.
That's the only thing that we have, but he needs to sign it, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Herrera, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir.
Have you received a document to sign? Basically said defendant's consent to plea by video, or not plea by, but defendant's consent to video conferences on this case this morning?
I can check right now.
Okay,
It
that'd
would
be
be through Adobe Sign, Mr. Herrera.
It won't be in my email.
Yeah, it'll be in your email, but it will be titled Adobe Sign. You'll see it.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Oh, good. Thank you. And Your Honor, that will go straight to me, not you, and I will send that to you.
Pat, is Mr. Howard signed?
I haven't received it yet, Joanne. He may be doing it right now. He's, as soon as he does, I will send that to the judge as well. But it also takes a little while after y'all hit it to get to me.
Mr. Howard, have you signed it?
I just submitted it.
Okay,
Wait,
good.
As you're
or
all
it should
set.
be. Okay. Actually, Mr. Howard has signed. The judge needs to sign his portion.
Okay, let me go do a search part.
And that'll give me time to give Mr. Herrera's. I don't have his yet. Were you able to find it, Mr. Herrera?
Yes, ma'am. It says that I'm all set when I signed
Got
it.
it, got it, got it, got it. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Judges just needs to print them now. So as soon as he has them printed.
Pat, can you put me in a breakout room with Eddie regarding Howard? And we'll go right back in. I can't hear you, Pat. I think you're muted.
Go into 3 where Eddie, go back into 3.
Okay.
Okay, have a copy over. Pat, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Judge Joanna, you ready to proceed on Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is cause number 650-994, State of Texas versus Clayton Howard Hosfield. This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision based on a track 2 plea and probation agreement in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, originally made on July 6, 2021. And representing the state on all matters will be Mr. Eddie Villarreal, Mr. Arthur Reed. Representing the defendant is Judge Joanne De Hoyos. Representing the Bexar County CSCD, Ms. Valerie Serna. Valerie, is this your client or is this Joe's client?
It's mine, Judge. Oh,
right.
Mr. Herrera?
Mr. Howard Hosfield.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's Joe's.
Let me go ahead and swear you at this time so I don't forget later. Ms. Senator, do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
It's Joe's, Judge.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. It's Joe's.
I understand, but I'm swearing you're going to testify later on another case. I'm swearing
Yes.
you in now.
I do.
All right, thank you. Okay. And Judge De Hoyos, my understanding is this is going to be an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct?
Yes, with one exception on condition number 1, Your Honor, he's pleading not true, and the state has agreed to waive that in exchange for the plea of true.
Okay, not a problem. Okay. Mr. Howard Hosfield in cause, I've got actually a second document for you to identify. Let's start over again. Mr. Howard Hosfield in cause 650-994 on the document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, sir.
Thank you. And Judge De Hoyos, as attorney for Mr. Howard Hosfield, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal, unquote. Is this also your signature on this document, Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Judge De Hoyos, as attorney for Mr. Howard Hosfield, is this also your signature on this document?
It is.
Mr. Howard Hosfield in cause 650-994 on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Your attorney has already informed us you are pleading not true to condition number 1, alleging a new offense. How do you plead on the remaining conditions? And I'm going to, yeah, that's number 1. Go ahead, sir.
Guilty, sir.
All right. Would that be true with an explanation? Probably, Judge De Hoyos?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court accepts a plea of not true to condition number 1 and true with an explanation on the remaining condition. And Mr. Bonablest, as a probation officer for the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, and you were the primary probation officer for Mr. Howard Hosfield, could you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Howard Hosfield's probation?
Your Honor, may I remind you to swear him in, please?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could you swear in, Mr. Bonablest?
I did earlier. Well, you were in a breakout room. I'll be happy to do it again for you if you want to see.
For my record, he was sworn. That's all. I just need to know.
All right. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so Mr. Hosfield has already completed his DWI education. He's completed the Victim Impact Panel Live. As far as community service, I'm not sure if we're going to go ahead and waive the hours for his military service. Let me see. He's been participating in treatment through the GI Forum. As far as anything else, I know he was considering making a payment, the large payments, or paying it in full, but he has not done that yet, sir.
So what you're saying is he basically completed everything he's supposed to complete except for payments. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. And
then did you have any violation reports or other problems with Mr. Howard Hosfield during the term of his probation?
Yes. The MTR, which was submitted, had numerous alcohol violations throughout this past year. Let me see here. And also violations with both the Smart Start device. I'm sorry, he did not have any violations with the Scram device, but while he was on the Smart Start device, he did have violations, Judge.
Okay, State, have you got any further questions for Mr. Bonnebush?
At this time, Judge, no, not at this time.
All right, Judge De Hoyos, do you have any questions for Officer Bonnebush?
Okay, so on the community service hours, as is our custom in the Veterans Treatment Court and Judge Christian's policy, you probate the community service hours, correct, Joe? So you don't have any problems with those continue being probated, correct?
Yes, correct.
And you said something about Scram. He was placed as one of his sanctions on VTC. Was he placed on Scram?
Yes, he was.
And he was compliant with that at all times?
Yes, with the Scram devices.
And were these recent episodes, I guess, alcohol, where there's some issues? He's denying that he interfered with the duties, the public duties, but he was arrested for that. Is that correct?
He was arrested for that, yes.
And he asserts his innocence on that, correct? He's told you he's going to fight that charge.
Yes, he has told me that.
And so we set that aside because he's claiming his right to remain innocent. It's just his issues with alcohol again after being on the manager. Is that correct?
Correct. And I will add that he did admit to every alcohol violation.
He took the judge's advice and admitted his problems, and he's in treatment because he needs treatment, correct? He has an issue. And as a result of this DWI conviction, he'll face numerous fines civilly and affects his insurance, correct? So this is a very expensive and costly mistake, and losing VTC is going to affect him adversely financially, correct?
That is correct.
Do you have a recommendation? Would you agree that he should just be, he's going to have a conviction? Do you have a term that you're asking for? Do you want him back on probation, or you be okay with him getting credit for time served on the jail time he had already of 1 day?
Yes, I would be okay with that. Yes.
Because he's done the programs, correct? Other than
he has completed all the conditions other than the program itself, but yes, he has.
And what about how much money does he still owe the program?
Let's see here. It looks like he has a balance of 1,000. Let me see. Let me just double check here. He still actually has the full balance of $1,000.
And how long has he been in the program?
He's been in the program going on, let me see, he came in 9 months.
All right. Pass this witness, John.
Any questions based on defense counsel's question, State?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Buenblust, you had mentioned that the defendant admitted to drinking alcohol a few times.
Yes.
And one of those times was on July 21st.
Yes, correct.
Another was February 8th.
Yes, that is correct.
Another was March 3rd of this year.
Yes, that is correct.
Another was March 13th of this year.
That is also correct.
And he did actually have some violations on his portable alcohol monitoring device as well.
Yes, yes.
One of those was a high BRAC of 0.27, excuse me.
Yes, that is correct.
And then just immediately after that high BRAC, he blew another high BRAC of, it was actually 0.03.
Yes.
On that same day.
On the same day, yes.
He blew again on that same day. It was actually a 0.033 then on that third time.
Yes.
Now, Mr. the defendant has also admitted to using marijuana as well.
Yes, he has admitted, yes.
And that was on November 16th of last year, 2021.
Correct.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor. Pass the witness.
Judge DeHoyle, anything further?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Officer Bonbliss, are we looking at 3 or 4 confirmed alcohol positive sessions and 1 marijuana session? That sound right?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And are there any, I'm going to ask for Joe Campbell to testify here in a moment as our VJO from the Veterans Administration with regard to treatment. But from the probation side of the house, is there anything else that, except for money, that Mr. Howard Hosfield needs to do to complete his probation requirements?
No, sir.
Okay. Stand by. Ms. Campbell, you are one of the designated VJOs for the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, are you not?
Yes, Judge.
And are you familiar with Defendant Clayton Matthew Howard Hosfield's treatment through, I guess you didn't go through the VA, he went through the GI Forum, does that sound right?
That is correct. He's not with the VA.
Do you, in your position, track his treatment through the GI Forum, or how do we keep up with that?
No, sir. VA does not track his treatment.
All right, Joe, let me go back to you. How do we know what treatment that Mr. Howard Hosfield received from the GI Forum?
Usually, Mr. Childers will receive notification that he's been attending. He'll get updates from the GI Forum. And I also have a few documentations showing that he was participating in treatment.
Okay, and Joe, what is the GI Forum? I understand it's another organization that assists veterans with drug, alcohol programs and whatnot. Can you tell me any more about it?
Yes, they also provide therapeutic services as well as housing. They have a housing program for veterans who are homeless. They also work with employment and helping veterans with employment services as well.
Okay. Judge DeHoyle, do I have your permission to ask your client what courses he took at the GI Forum, that sort of thing?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I had to step outside. They were working at my house. So.
Oh, tell him not to trip.
I'm gonna try not.
Mr. Howard Hosfield, with regard to the GI Forum, do you have a recollection of what courses you took with them or what counseling perhaps you took with them?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been and still am currently attending once or twice a week sessions with Ms. Jennifer Eifner. She's also working with me in regards to trying to submit something like an application to CareLink in order to get medication, if possible, through a psychiatrist that's also state funded. But that's pretty much the extent of it, sir, Your Honor.
Have they told you at the GI Forum what they consider your problem to be? We can't get you to stop drinking. It's kind of where we're coming from, and that's the big issue in this case. We've got 3 or 4 different issues of drinking, and I understand if you were not a defendant, you can go drink all you want, just don't drive. But you're on probation, you're going to get in trouble if you drink. Now, to your credit, you've been truthful with us when you have been drinking or using marijuana. You let us know, is my understanding. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's right, well, we appreciate that, certainly. But what does the GI Forum tell you your drinking problem? Are you technically an alcoholic, or what is your status?
Your Honor, it's so in 2015 in the Marine Corps at a training station in Twin End Palms, they had diagnosed me with depersonalization, derealization disorder. And then Ms. Jennifer Eifner, although she's not in a psychiatric standpoint, so she can't make a clear diagnosis, she believes that I have bipolar 2 disorder, which is characterized by extensive depression rather than just the general cycles of depressive manic phases, which I'm currently trying to get my doctorates in neuropsychology too. And I know you're not supposed to make self-diagnosis, but like bipolar 2 disorder does kind of seem more in line with my behavior. But I've talked to Ms. Judge De Hoyos. And as I stated in my letter too, I mean, it's an excuse, but it's not viable. So I'm still trying to work on, I don't have health insurance as of right now. I'm still working or need to get in touch with or do something with the VA. Also in regards to my, the job that I currently have. But I do believe that I need to be on some type of medication. I just haven't been able to get it to it yet. And although it's not an excuse, that's the answer to your question, Your Honor.
Sir, why did you go to the GI forum for treatment instead of the VA? Do you have a reason for that, or is it just more convenient, or what?
No, Your Honor. So I had served slightly less than 2 years on active after I was originally in reserves, and I got activated for about the last 2 years of my contract. So I don't technically have access to the entirety of the VA. I only rate a certain portion, well, at least in regards to my education benefits. But as far as healthcare, I don't have access to that as of right now, sir.
What was your job in the Marine Corps?
I was a field radio operator. As a result of it, I was a corporal, and then I got NJP'd because of this as well.
And you were only in the Marine Corps for 2 years? Is that what you told us?
I was in for a total of 6. The first 4 were reserves, and then I got activated the last 2 years.
And did you have any combat deployments to Iraq or Afghanistan?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions based on mine, Judge Joanne?
She may be frozen, Judge.
Judge De Hoyos, can you hear us?
No, Your Honor. Sorry, I didn't.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Howard Hosfield based on mine?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
State, you have any questions for Mr. Howard Hosfield based on mine?
No, Judge.
Okay. Let me get some background information, sir. Are you married? Do you have children? Are you working, going to school? What are you doing?
I'm not married, Your Honor. I don't have children. I am currently working full-time as well as attending school full-time for a double major in biology and psychology, a concentration in neurobiology, and a minor in chemistry.
And where are you going to school?
University of Texas at San Antonio, Your Honor.
And where are you in that? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior?
I can technically graduate this semester with my psychology degree. However, I wanted to graduate with both of them at the same time. It just helps with regards to my GPA. I'm trying to graduate summa cum laude, and I'm in the first part of my senior year for my biology degree, Your Honor.
And then where are you working currently?
I'm a server at Texas Roadhouse, Your Honor. I did receive a job from the state at the state psychiatric hospital. However, I had to turn that down until a later time, just because the scheduling does not work with the entirety of the coursework that I have at school, Your Honor.
Okay. And Judge Joanne, what is the defense requesting with regard to Mr. Howard Hosfield's probation?
Your Honor, that you find the credit for time served 1 day, and he's obviously still has the money. I don't know if you can waive the fee for the Veterans Treatment Court because of his activity in school. He is trying to better himself, Your Honor. This is going to cost him a tremendous amount of money, as the scram has once he is convicted, and today he'll be convicted.
And Officer Bonablush, what is the CSCD's recommendation with regard to Mr. Howard Hosfield?
To be honest with you, Judge.
If you don't have one before, now's your big chance. What do you think would be fair to do with Mr. Howard Hosfield from the probation standpoint, knowing the good things he's done versus the bad things he's done?
Judge, I think that Mr. Hosfield still needs a lot of help. I believe that we can give him that help, but I guess in the past 9 months, I haven't seen that just yet, as far as his violations with alcohol. I'd like to keep him on to see if we can assist him with that. But to be honest with you, Judge, I'm not sure if he can or can't do that, Judge.
State recommendation.
Your Honor, the state recommends revocation.
State, if I were to revoke Mr. Howard Hosfield, and if I were to give him 90-day jail sentence, my intention being that he spends at least 30 days in the Bear County Jail to think about all this, because I think he's going to be getting 3 for 1 in the jail, but I obviously can't guarantee that. Only the sheriff can. Would the state consider letting me TIC the pending other case?
Yes, Judge, that would be okay.
And Judge De Hoyos, would that be all right with the defense? I understand the defense doesn't want to be revoked, et cetera, but if he were to be revoked, would the defense object to him getting the new case TIC'd with the old case?
You're muted.
Can I talk to him in the breakout room, Your Honor?
You bet, absolutely.
All right. Okay. Okay. Mr. Howard, if you'll go into room 1, you'll see a blue button. Hit that and you'll go in with Judge Joanne. Joanne, you should be able to go into 1. You're in there. Yeah, there you go.
You realize this is the only time we've been able to make Judge Joanne stop talking in like 30 years?
That's just wrong.
Does anybody have the cause number off the new case?
Yes, Your Honor. 680225.
680225.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll come back when they come back.
Pat, this is Cho. I have to switch the meeting over to my other thing, my work phone.
Is that the STX?
Yes, it's that one. I
Got
just
it.
wanted to let you know that was me trying to get in.
And I just put you in, sweetie.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Pat, while we have a quick second, for next Tuesday, are we starting at 9:30 or are we starting at 10?
At 9:30. Everything now is 9:30.
The alarm clock doesn't even go off till noon.
Life's rough, and then you have to do whatever you gotta do.
We're ready, Pat.
Your Honor? He said he would come back.
Oh, I did.
Back on the record, this is cause 650-994, State of Texas versus Clayton Howard Hosfield. Judge De Hoya?
Yeah, I was asking if we could ask for a favor. He is in the middle of the school term. His term ends May 11th. He's going to send me a copy of a screenshot of the proof that at the last day he has of classes. If we could recess this hearing till May 12th, and then he would take your offer of 30 days, actual days in jail and TIC. It's just he's worried about losing all the credits for this semester.
Trying to think how I can do this.
You will recess the hearing?
Well, I mean, can I not just sentence him today and order him to report to jail on that day? Wouldn't that work equally well?
Yes.
Okay. The only glitch I see, because I can't make any promises, obviously, to Mr. Howard Hosfield or to you. My intention is for him to do at least 30 days in jail, because I think that would be a good time for reflection and coming up with a new plan on his life instead of drinking and doing other things. So that being said, although I have the authority to order him to jail for a year at the result of all this, I'm obviously not doing that. I'm giving him credit for going into the military. I'm giving him credit for the actual good things he did while he was in the program. And I'm giving him credit for being honest with us, mostly credit for being honest with us. But that being said, I'm going to order 90 days, but I don't have any control over what the sheriff does. He may keep you there the entire 90 days. I have no idea. But my understanding is currently the quotient is 3 for 1. And Judge Joanne is down in the trenches with all that going on. She knows more about it than I do at this point.
Yeah, I tell him I know as a trustee to guarantee the 3 for 1. 3 for 1 is trustee.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and sentence him today and order him to report to jail on the date that you're requesting. And I want Mr. Howard Hosfield's word he's going to show up. Is that true, Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, fair enough. Okay, cause 650-994. The court accepts Mr. Howard Hosfield's plea on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision of true to condition, well, to all conditions except number 1 and not true to number 1. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. I sentence you to 90 days in the Bexar County Jail, assess a $1,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, taking into consideration clause 680225, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed, recalling all other pretrial bond conditions and warrants, and ordering you to report at 9:00 a.m. on May 12th. Is that correct, Judge De Hoya?
That's correct. May 12th, correct?
Is that okay with you, Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You report to the Bexar County Jail on May 12th, 2022, 9 a.m. Now, I would say 0900 hours, but since you're a Marine, I have to say 9:00 a.m. in the morning. All right, sir. Best of luck. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
All right. Good luck, sir. Thank you, Judge Joanne.
Thank you.
And Mr. Howard Hosfield is released at this time. Judge Joanne, I need you for one more hearing, I think.
Yes, sir.
And let me take a 1-minute break and I'll be right back. I got to make a phone call. Okay, can everybody hear me? Is Pat still with us?
Yes, John.
All right. Back on the record, this is cause 640-828, State of Texas versus David C. Herrera. This is a state's notice of termination of pretrial intervention, and which states now comes. State, I don't think Nicholas the Hood is still the DA on your document here, but that's pretty close.
No, Judge, definitely not.
That should say Joe Gonzalez, I would think, correct?
Yes, sir. Joe D. Gonzalez.
All right. Amend your document with permission of the defense. Defense, any objection?
You're muted.
Mute.
No objections. I'm full aware who the DA is, Your Honor.
There
Not
you
a surprise.
Now comes Joe Gonzalez, Criminal District Attorney of Bexar County, Texas, by and through the undersigned Assistant Criminal District Attorney, and respectfully request the court to set the above entitled and number of criminal action on the court's docket for the following reason. Defendant has violated the terms of the Veterans Treatment Court Program. Excuse me. As a result, the pretrial intervention program and participation in the Veterans Treatment Court have been terminated. Wherefore, premises considered on this 4th day of April 2022 is requested the above entitled cause be set on the court's docket. And signed by Everardo Villarreal, Assistant Criminal District Attorney. So that's what we're here for today. So at this point in time, I'm looking at a document related to this hearing. This document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Hearing by Video Conference, which reportedly is signed both by Mr. Herrera and his attorney, Judge De Hoyos. In fact, Mr. Herrera, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Judge De Hoyos, as attorney for Mr. Herrera, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And administratively, Pat, my document does not have a date filled in on it. Maybe the original does, but it needs to be dated today. Okay, and who was Mr. Herrera's probation officer for the term of his probation with the VTC? Would that be Val, is that you?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, and you've been previously sworn. Would you please advise the court on the parties of the status of Mr. Herrera's probation with the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court?
Mr. Herrera has currently paid his fees in full due to doing his service hours. He did complete them very late. He did them at the last minute, although we continue to tell him about his fees and do his hours. He had one missed docket on March 14th. On his Smart Start mobile, he had 8 skip blows, 22 late blows. He did have one positive UA while he was with us on 9/15/21. It was positive for THC. 9 missed UA tests. 22 failures to call the UA line. Had to add one for yesterday. And I believe he's had a lot of mistreatment dates, which I can allow Ms. Cameron to talk, or I do have the dates in front of me as well if she needs me to tell you.
Yes, I'm available.
Okay.
Okay, as far as treatment, Mr. Herrera, he no-showed to 8 treatment appointments, and then we had a meeting with him, the entire court staff, probation officer, and myself, and informed him that he could not no-show to any more treatment appointments. So after that, he would cancel the appointment. So he has 8 additional appointments that he still did not attend, and he canceled them. So that's a total of 16 missed treatment appointments. For his substance abuse, he only had 26 that he was supposed to complete. over a span of 13 weeks. And over the span of a year, he's not attended 16 of those. So he did have to make them up and eventually completed the substance abuse treatment.
Did you just say completed? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
He did eventually complete it after no showing to 16 of them. Between those and his mental health appointments.
Joe, has he actually successfully, even though we have a lot of skips and misses and whatever, has he completed the outpatient drug alcohol program with the VA?
Yes, he did eventually complete the 26 sessions.
Are there any programs with the VA he was ordered to go to that he has not completed?
He has not been successfully, he has not met his treatment goals in his mental health treatment, but I believe that he was attending those prior to the program. But we did identify some goals that he was to meet while in BTC, and he did not complete those.
Okay, Judge DeHoyos, do you have any questions for Ms. Campbell?
Yes, so he has some issues with the traumatic brain injury, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is his rating?
Give me just a second.
I believe he's 90%, if I recall correctly.
100.
Oh, you're at 100? Okay.
I'm unemployable. 100.
And so the mental health was he was doing prior to getting a VTC, and we incorporated that into his treatment plan, correct?
Yes, I'm not sure the depth of his treatment prior to BTC. So when we met for his treatment plan, we identified that would be a part of his treatment plan. Although he was getting some mental health counseling before, it then became a part of his contract and a part of his treatment plan to continue that treatment.
So are any of those notes indicative that some of his actions, some of his failure to call, some of not responding on emails due to this injury in any way? I mean, does it affect his ability to pay attention, stay on focus?
I have not seen that in any of the notes.
Okay. That's this witness.
Hey, do you have any questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Now, was the defendant advised of these meetings prior to them occurring?
Yes, he was. The VA gives email appointment reminder as well as a mail out appointment reminder.
And so there's multiple notifications sent to the defendant about these meetings.
Yes, there are.
Okay, no further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I ask one more? I'm sorry.
Absolutely, sure.
So as a team, as a member of the team, the veterans, you sat down with him, the staff sat down with him to try to inform him about what he had to do, correct?
Yes, that is correct. On at least 2 occasions, we had full staff meeting with him, as well as monthly meetings with Officer Cerner and myself.
And he's already past a year, is that correct? He's been already in
Sorry, I didn't
BTC.
hear the question.
Has he been in BTC longer than a year? Almost near a year?
Just slightly. He came in on April 1st of 2021.
And so this motion is that the team has tried everything to have him have what's called a dismissal, correct? To pass the threshold.
Yes, we've tried pretty much everything to have him have a successful year and term.
And do you have any objections to the agreement of the state that we would find him guilty and sentence him to the minimum time?
I don't have any objections to that.
And he's done correct. I mean, he's done DWI education and the CATS, all the programs ordered by the court normally.
He did do his classes, yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Does Mr. Herrera have any credit for time served on this case? Pat, would you know that?
Just one, Your Honor. We checked before, just the day of his arrest.
Just one, Your Honor.
Okay, I got you. Mr. Herrera, you can't work. Are you going to school? What are you doing, sir?
Just kind of taking care of my son. He's autistic.
And how old is your son, sir?
He's 8.
And how did you get a traumatic brain injury? Was this a combat related incident or how did that happen?
Yes, sir. I was blown up in IED on 3 separate occasions, but the first one was 2007.
Was this Iraq or Afghanistan or both?
Iraq.
And what unit were you with at that time?
I was with 1st Marine Division, MP Company.
And so how many Purple Hearts do you have at this point?
I have none, sir.
Okay, they don't give you a Purple Heart for traumatic.
Yes, not. They changed the rating after my time. I guess apparently you can get a Purple Heart now if you are in an IED and you get ringing in the ears. But I lost full consciousness, but I never reported. I just went on mission the very next day.
I understand. The reason we're here today basically is, and I don't have the date in front of me, maybe one of the team members may have it, but we had an initial meeting with you several months ago, and we were going to do exactly what we're doing today because we'd had a lot of problems with your probation. And you convinced us that you were going to do better, and we've kind of drug you across the finish line kicking and screaming. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And I understand you've got this mental injury thing, but if this was not brought to my attention as we went along, we would have been doing this months ago. You have probably the worst record of attendance at doing things than when you're supposed to be doing anybody I've ever seen in my mere 40 years of doing this. No hard feelings, it's just the way it is. So I can't in good conscience graduate you and grant your track 1 because you didn't step up and do what you were supposed to do. Neither the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth, never. Now, you have finished everything. I can't in good conscience put you in jail, so that's the one good thing you got going for you. But I can't also in good conscience allow you to be a graduate of the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court on track 1 pretrial diversion because you've done a terrible job for us. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, sir. I
don't want to be mean. I'm just trying to be very, very candid with you.
No, I take full responsibility. I've brought all these problems. Every job I've had is just, I'm just not cut out. I don't know what to do.
Understand. Okay, Judge Joanne, what is the defense requesting?
Credit for time served, Your Honor. I think with the state and I have an agreement on that.
And state, what is your recommendation?
Your Honor, we recommend time served as well.
Mr. Herrera, in cause 640828, the court grants the state's notice of termination of pretrial intervention. I accept your plea rendered on or about March 24th, 2021 of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. I find you guilty. I sentence you to 1 day in the Bexar County Jail. Assess a $1,000 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money. Now let's make it a $100 fine. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Judge Joanne, will that take care of it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Herrera, best of luck. Thank you for your service, sir. And I'm sorry it came to this, but I really didn't have a choice from my perspective. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Warrants on it also? If there's any warrants?
We're going to recall all pretrial bond conditions and warrants, correct?
Thank you.
All right. Any further from the state of the defense on Mr. Herrera?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. Herrera. Thank you, Judge Doyle.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
What else have we got?
Should be it, Your Honor.
Eddie, I need hopefully a decision on your people on this. Let me see what the name is. Frank Brown, represented by Todd Coronado. He apparently had 3 existing misdemeanors that are all set for trial on Monday. And they picked up 3 or 4 felonies or something since then. And I think my understanding is the standard operating procedure of the DA's office is not to do anything on misdemeanors if a felony is pending. But these were already set for trial. I mean, I would like to have this guy on probation so we have a hammer over his head so he doesn't do something else, is what I'd like to do. But obviously, the ball's in your court. But I need to find out what y'all want to do.
Right. I had spoken to Pat about it yesterday, and I think we're going to have those reset so that we can focus on the felony first, and so I can get the go-ahead to proceed with any of the misdemeanors.
Yeah, Your Honor, Eddie said that because the felony was so new, I mean, literally he was popped yesterday when I found out that the felony people wouldn't even have any clue what's going on with it or anything.
Yeah.
Not rocket science. He has a felony pending. You know, it's real simple. Can we go ahead and resolve these 3 misdemeanors, or do we have to wait for you guys to percolate the felony a year from now? That's my big problem with it.
Right.
Who's this guy going to kill in the next year? The answer is, I don't know, but somebody.
Well, Your Honor, I'm sorry because I talked to Eddie and I know he was supposed to get back to you. I went ahead and.
The only difference on this case and every other case is these cases are actually, no kidding, set for trial. Now,
Yes.
the defense obviously wants to not do anything and just sit there and wait for the felony to percolate and buy themselves a year.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what the state's going to do, I don't have, you know, my hands are tied. So we just reset him and put him on. I've already got him on full GPS or something on the new case, I think, or I'm going to.
Yeah, he's still in jail, Your Honor.
So anyway, that'll take care of that. All right, answer my question. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
What else we got? Ron's out golfing. It's a new golf course. I haven't seen this golf course before. Where's that one, Ron?
Switch it up.
That's the Masters. That's actually the Masters.
Where Tiger's going to be playing now since he's back.
You know, Tiger Woods has a nickname. We have to give Ron a nickname. How about Koala Bear Mora? What do you think?
Hey, Judge, I do have something that I wanted to discuss with you to get some feedback in reference to the UA lab on Comal. So on Monday when we had Docket, I had reported that there was 4 people that came up positive, and it just happened to be 329 and 330. And I was actually kind of shocked because I've never seen my entire time being here where I have positive, like straight. So you did implement some sanctions. However, when we had a staff meeting on Tuesday with Emil and the other specialty courts, some of the other probation officers were saying that they were having the same issue. We're thinking there's something going on, not that they're being tampered with, but it may be the way they're handling something, but they may be false positives for ETG. So we did talk to Ron yesterday. We're thinking just to stop utilizing the Comal address until we can figure out what's going on over there and they get that fixed.
Are you just having problems with marijuana positives or alcohol positives too?
No, it was alcohol positives, but some of the other officers had these ETG UAs confirmed and they were false positives. So I personally don't feel that I want to have them pay $15 when it's not their fault. I did speak to all these defendants yesterday late in the evening, and I didn't tell them what was going on. I basically just asked them, have you been drinking? This UA came out positive for alcohol. And they completely denied it. And it's not like they would have had a chance to talk to each other because I did one phone call right after the other. And I told them that I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. They all just happened to go to that Comal address. So I did send out an email to all my people, and Joe was doing the same, as to having them stop utilize the Comal address location and only go to the Commerce one until further notice. So with that said, these people who have sanctions, can we remove those? Because you had increased blows to 6 and weekly UAs for 4 weeks. Can we retract those?
Well, most of those, if they came off of UA, is that what you're saying? Not if it came off of Smart Start Mobile.
They didn't have violations on Smart Start Mobile. It was the UA.
Okay. So how many defendants do we have either in County Court 6 or the VTC that are in this zone of a possible ban test?
It would have only been the VTC because that Comal location is only utilized for specialty court.
Look at this.
And it was to alleviate.
Got 6 iron.
Who runs that lab?
It's still through recovery, right, Joe? But they
Yes, it's still recovery.
They
but
opened
they're-
it to alleviate some of the foot traffic because defendants were waiting a long time, or even the regular veterans. Everybody was waiting a long time.
This is a huge deal. We can't use it if we're not getting
Right.
results, good, because we got people's lives in our hands and we can't keep violating their constitutional rights, knowing that we're getting faulty tests out of that. Hey, Ron, was one of our Colonel Strong's UA one of those?
I don't know, Judge, because Colonel Strong was through pretrial. So I'm not sure if
it was
it's pretrial.
They're not using that lab.
Okay.
So, Mr. Halloran, he's a graduate. He already termed. He was one of those. And when I talked to him, he was like, "No, I absolutely not have. I still haven't had anything to drink." He never had any violations the entire time that he was with us. So I believe what he's saying. I mean, he has no. He shouldn't have to lie to me. He's already done with the program. So.
Okay, so whatever you want to do with that is fine. We'll just hold short on taking any action on any of those that are positive, so to speak.
Okay, so I'll get with Ron to retract the ones on these people who had come up positive.
Now, I want you to still talk to the people that have come up positive. If they admit they did it, then that's something different. But if they deny it, yeah.
No, I did. They all denied. And in all honesty,
what are we talking about?
It was 4 total that came up positive.
You have the names?
But one of them is already termed.
You have the names in front of you? There are 3 that are still on probation.
I do, Judge. It's Shepard, Sutton, and Cunningham. And honestly, I think if they were drinking and they're still manipulating the system, they're going to think they got away with it and they'll get caught again.
What is it? Can we pay for confirmation tests on these tests? I know normally you try to get the defendant to pay for it, but that doesn't sound fair.
As far as the court or probation?
Yeah, as far as me ordering the county to pay for it.
You may be able to use it out of the funds from VTC.
How much is it? How much is it to confirm each test?
$15 per drug.
Josh isn't here. Ron, who's in charge? You?
That would,
I guess.
That would have to be part of the grant, if it was part of the grant. If there was anything regarding this.
Can we get authority to pay for 3? I would like to know if these things are real or not, so to speak. If they confirm them and they're all bad, that adds to your gas to your fire to argue that there's something wrong with the lab, right?
So
I would say so.
You would have to go and look at the grant. It would, if there was money to allow it, it would be in the grant.
When's Josh coming back? Next week?
The 18th. The 18th.
That's what I thought.
Well, he's our grant guy. Let's do this. I mean, they keep those specimens on for 6 months or something, don't they? So I mean, we can still get it tested a week from now. We don't have to jump.
They'll still have them, yes.
Yes, sir.
Ron, do me a favor, remind me to talk to Josh about that and see if we can do it. Because I'm inclined to let's go ahead and let's get them tested and see what they really are.
All right, sir. Will do.
All right.
At one time, there was part of the grant was there was a small amount of money allotted for UAs, Your Honor, but I don't know whether that was.
And the hell with the grant, the damn county is the one that's authorizing all this. They ought to be paying for it.
They're not going to do it.
I think that would be a good idea to have a small amount instead of the
county to do it.
Judge, may I approach you on something?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, say again.
May I approach you on a couple of our trial cases? Do we need to use a not ready at this point if we have a missing witness?
No.
Okay, so
normally I want you to get to me like 10 days in advance, but I understand that a lot of times you don't get information until the last possible minute. So do you have jury trials right now that you're missing witnesses on?
yes, a couple officers, they're out on vacation.
Who are the defense counsel on these cases?
Paula Perez, and I've tried conferring with her a few times and unsuccessfully yet.
Okay, the only one?
Well, I just found out this morning on Ms. Kramer, and I haven't had a chance to reach out to her.
Here's the big deal today. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'm going to cut you off from getting reset on jury trial. You're going to take a not
Your
ready.
Honor, tomorrow's a holiday. Today at 5 o'clock.
Ooh, well, I don't want to. I can still give them till tomorrow at 5 o'clock, even if it's a holiday. In other words,
You're gonna make us work.
Preparing over the weekend for your jury trial is not going to happen. That's where I'm going from.
Mhm.
So as far as I'm concerned, and you don't have to bother Pat, she's got a day off tomorrow, but you can bother me. If you need a reset, as long as
I'm
I'm
still
clear
working.
at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm okay with it.
So I am asking for a
It's only gonna
reset.
be a 30-day reset though.
That's okay. I am asking for a reset on those two cases because those officers are out of town and unavailable.
But I give you +10 for even figuring that much out, because that's hard to do too.
I appreciate
Okay, so
it,
Your Honor, I can reset Ms. Bettis's and Suzanne's?
Is that the ones that they're talking about? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. So,
Okay.
yes, Ms. Pettis, and
But I do the same thing for the defense. If they were missing a critical witness this time, I'd do the same thing for them. They shouldn't have
And you
much.
want a 30-day reset on these?
Yeah. Don't you think that's okay with the state? Does that give you enough time for these guys to come back?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so these will be set for May 9th?
The state just needs, I don't need to know. I got to be here anyway.
Yes, that's wonderful for us. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, what else we got?
So, just to confirm, Ms. Kramer, I'm sorry, yeah, Ms. Suzanne Kramer, the cause number is 643.
I have the docket in front of me. I've already marked it. I will do that
Oh,
before I leave the office
okay.
at 3.
You are in